Hello everybody and happy Energy Sword Sunday. Welcome to another episode of Extreme Forge Makeover. Today we're going to be looking at another Reach map that I made when I was a kid. And the title of this map today is Stratify. I think I called it that because it has two layers. So kind of I was thinking of the atmosphere and the stratosphere and stuff like that. Kind of a cringy name. But Bungie maps kind of have those kind of pseudo-intellectual, pseudo-mysterious names that I think are very fitting and very fun, and they seem kind of cringy, but I think they fit very well into the mythos and stuff like that. Right into the map, there's some immediate visual storytelling with like broken areas, like the walls are collapsing and part of the structure's collapsing. The description of the map says something about it being a water filtration plant that's crumbling into the sea, which I think is kind of cool. So a lot of sections of the map you'll actually see a lot of water. Starting off with the weapon placement on the map, not 3 seconds of the map, I already have a grenade launcher, so we're probably going to have to work on the weapon placement and the power weapons because it's kind of strange how quickly you can get to it at this point. A lot of visual storytelling and just small details in this map. If you look through, there's a lot of collapsing stuff in there. It's really interesting, and we'll look at it again later. There's some structure coming out of the ground here, and later when I go into Forge, I do correct this so that's not popping out, but I did forget to record that footage, so you just have to take my word for it. We're in the second level of the map, and it kind of connects back into the red spawn here. Seems like a nice power position for the grenade launcher, which again we are going to move. And it kind of connects into the side flank of the map. The map is semi-symmetrical. There are different weapon placements on each end of the map, but the sides are generally the same. So the spawns are different, but the middle is the same and the sides are the same. A lot of the different you can immediately see how big the map is with how long it took that grenade to reach all the way over there, and this is only like 7 seconds from spawn or 5 seconds from spawn, and there's a rocket launcher, and a rocket launcher spawning that close to a grenade launcher at that. So the weapon choice and weapon placement in this map is pretty awful until we change it later. I don't know what my 16-year-old self was thinking with this stuff. I actually really like the placement of these plasma pistols here. I think they're in a really good spot. There's a few accurate weapons around here that encourage the noob combo. And the noob combo isn't very overpowered in reach, so I think it's okay to encourage it. There's some barriers right here as we move in from each of the little mini bases above, but they're not found in the blue base, which I think is strange. I'll delete that barrier later. I don't have the footage for that again because this was a really long video and a lot of the stuff got lost. But just taking a sky shot over the map, you can see how ridiculously big this map is. Definitely the biggest map I've ever made, and 0% of it uses just land and other parts of the Forge World map that are already built into it, so it's pretty impressive, and I really like how it looks and how it turned out. Just a few tweaking for balancing things that we have to take care of in Forge. DMR up there, smart to have the DMR up in such a high position because it's an accurate weapon. Plasma repeater here, I think we're going to get rid of those later. There's a few questionable placements of the plasma repeater later, but I'll bring them up. Here's the concussion rifle. I believe this is opposite spawn of the rocket launcher. Nope, it's at the exact spawn of the rocket launcher, just above. So we have the concussion rifle, rocket launcher, and grenade launcher seconds away from each other. It's awful. It's the worst. And then just 4 seconds walking across this thing as a sniper rifle spawn over there, but I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's a little bouncy area here, and I'll show you what that's for in a second. Here's a sniper rifle. There's actually a lift directly in the middle of the map at the bottom, and you come up through that one-way shield, and it's very interesting, and I'll show you in the footage in just a bit. Wasting time blowing up these shields. And we're just going to walk over to the blue base. And you're going to notice that the blue base is a lot less decorated than the red base. And we're going to take care of that in a bit. But it's so boring compared to the red base. And big part of that is I wasted a lot of budget on that extremely detailed part that was through the one-way shield that was on the wall there. And we'll go back in, we'll delete a few things to get more of a budget so we can actually work on this map. Right now I'm just running around exploring parts of the base. Pick up the needler rifle. Right now I'm just kind of indulging myself in the theater mode because I really was just randomly shooting and I got this really interesting ricochet that hit these fusion coils, and I thought that viewers would like to see it. It literally ricochets 4 times in one go right there, and it just makes a 90-degree angle, and I thought that was really cool. I don't know what the limit for ricochets for the needler rifle are, and I don't know if it's just completely dependent on the like refraction angle or whatever, but I wonder if there's an actual hard limit to that. Jumping around the map, seeing what can and can't be jumped on, and then we're just heading back down to the bottom of the map just to take a quick look around at the middle, but we're actually going to head into blue base here. There's some fusion coils in the corner, just to kind of add a little bit of detail to the blue base, but we're going to add some more later. There is a focus rifle here. That definitely gets deleted when we go through Forge, but I forgot to record that part, so the focus rifle is no longer in the map, and take that into account when I'm forging later. I actually like the focus rifle a lot, but I like the sniper rifle a lot more. But I do like that it was included there. Near the blue base, there's this kind of interesting dual cave thing that sets out here, and there is a gravity hammer over here. This is way too close to where the characters spawn. For the blue team, I think there's only one blue spawn there, so it's kind of something maybe put in there with the idea of free-for-all, but it's still way too close. Doing some fancy trick jumps over here. After seeing that land and the gravity hammer so close together, my mind did immediately go to whether or not I could launch myself over there. And for a second I did think it was an issue that we had to fix later, but there's definitely a death barrier set there. But it doesn't affect you when you're in Forge mode, which makes sense. So that's actually not an issue we have to solve. That gravity hammer spawning that close is, though. Right now I'm just going to take a walk through of the bottom area. I don't have any like interesting dynamic footage of me going through this area, but I'm going to do a fly through at the very end. And I really, really like this area here. There's a lot of headroom. Doesn't feel claustrophobic at all, and it feels very natural with the rocks. I bet there would be a really interesting amount of firefights that would go on down here with accurate weapons. And there's kind of a nice maybe weaving you could do between the rocks with the shotgun that is spawning right here, but we are going to move that in a bit. Lastly, I forgot to get footage, so now I'm switching over, so it's not perfectly linked together with me walking around, but I did have a lift there that you could take to the second level, and I think that's really interesting. The two-way shield pushes you up through there, which is really nice, and I've never seen that used again in a different Forge map. Well, I haven't seen one in 10 years, but I thought it was pretty unique and interesting. Just immediately going in, deleting some weapons that I don't agree with the placement of, and it's pretty much almost every weapon on this map except for those plasma pistols. And I'm deleting that secret cone that I put up there. Just because we do need some kind of budget to start doing anything, because a lot of it was wasted on kind of the secret or kind of background scenery area through that window. There are actually a lot of Forge objects around here outside the map that serve no purpose at all. They don't add any detail within the map that the character can actually see. Just tweaking a few things over here. I deleted that antenna, and I'm lowering that object so it doesn't peek through the top. Replacing the gravity hammer with something a little more sensible, like the needler rifle, considering parts of the blue team do spawn over there. Deleting that needler, and I'm deleting the shotgun. This DMR, I'm actually deleting all the DMRs and all the needler rifles because I don't trust my 16-year-old self with the weapon placement after seeing all those power weapons next to each other. And on opposite ends of the map where that rocket launcher was, on the other opposite side was a needler rifle, and I'm putting 2 shotguns there now. So a shotgun on each side because they're pretty far from each other. Just adding some interesting elements to the map. Something that I really miss from Halo that I don't think is in Halo 4 or Halo 5 is just hazards in the map like explosives and objects, and I thought it'd be interesting if this was sitting here so you could try and splatter somebody. In retrospect, it's kind of weird that it's only on one side of the map, but I did want to play with something and do something interesting. I did think that the shield door is a little low, and it was set at an angle where you could see it peeking out of the side, so I just turned it 45 degrees and placed it right there. I don't know if my 16-year-old self knew how to use the coordinate thing, but I definitely do, and I'm going to use it to improve this map. This is the ramp by the grenade launcher by Red Spawn. I'm actually going to move the grenade launcher over here temporarily. Later in the video, I'm actually going to move it again. But I thought this was more appealing of a spot because it can be accessed quickly from jumping onto it from the ramp and jumping down from there and up from the fallen wall. Here's that death barrier I was talking about earlier. Temporarily moving the needler that is on the bottom floor, what we're actually going to do is delete that in a bit, and we're going to move a different item there. But I do think that the needler has a very good range for this bottom area, and it's kind of constrained so you can dodge it very well. Placing DMRs at the top of those kind of opposing mini bases on the second floor, because it's a good area to have ranged weapons. And I'm placing plasma grenades on both ends where the concussion rifle and the sniper rifle used to be. I think that's a good way to place that. It's kind of a risky area to go, and it's a good way to kind of counter somebody running for the shotgun. I'm deleting the two-way barriers that lead into this detailed area. One, because I wanted to jump in here and show you a little bit of it, but also because there's a lot of objects in here that need to be deleted so that we can have a higher budget. I placed these antennas in replacement of the two-way shield because I thought it might be interesting looking. I used the same method in Third Outpost and I liked how it looked, but I thought it looked kind of bad in this. I just ended up replacing it with a simple glass wall here, and I think it looks really good. The glass is really thin and it doesn't reflect too much light, so you can kind of see through it easily until you get kind of close to it. But I think it works a lot more effectively than that really bright orange two-way shield that used to be there. Adding some Covenant crates to the blue area and a cone because there's a lot of detail missing from this area. The cone zips away faster than a bullet and goes flying through that little area there, and I thought that was really cool. Once again, we really need physics objects in Halo Infinite. Just place them in the multiplayer map because it really makes for great clips and really interesting moments. Unforgettable moments that are recorded in theater mode. And it's really silly that we haven't seen that in a while. Building a little tiny sniper tower opposing the opposite side of where the grenade launcher was. I'm moving the grenade launcher down to the bottom section here so that it's further away from the kind of respawn areas. There's initial spawns right here, but all the respawns are set in the actual corners of the bases. I'm placing the grenade launcher here because I'm putting a sniper rifle in this little area here. I really like the tiny shelf that I built for it, but in retrospect, looking at the recording, I probably would have put it vertical, leaning against the wall there on that little shelf so that it's a little easier to see. I did move that grenade launcher away. I'll come back to that in a second, actually. The needler rifles I'm placing here, because there's not a lot of accurate weapons on the map. There's just a couple DMRs, and I kind of want these needler rifles near the spawn, so kind of the people who are quick to get out of the spawn will get that weapon, and if people are moving more towards that wall, it means less people are swarming the power weapon spawns. Just adding supplies repeaters around. One of those I actually didn't like the placement of. In retrospect, I would have placed it on a rock somewhere closer to spawn because that other one is kind of elevated. And I'm adding these, and I noticed that these objects in the Forge menu called braces have these really interesting top areas on them that you could actually change the color of, and I thought those would be a really good indicator of the spawn, so I kind of placed them jutting out of the wall. I noticed that the blue base also didn't have a magnum on its stairs when the red base does. And I'm just placing some nice medium range weapons near the middle of the map, leaning against these UNSC crates. I'm going to add some shield doors here because these spawns are kind of open. There's too many areas where the player could be shot at when they're just spawning, so I'm adding some kind of cover areas in these side sections. And it's kind of low. I could have built a much larger shield door, but I like the idea of people being able to throw grenades over it, kind of as a counter to that extra defense. And I'm adding some DMRs right here in the middle of the map. And that's mostly it for the Forge. I would go back and add a few more details, but I could only add a couple more without the budget going too high, and the length of this video is already a little too long. One thing I did want to go back and talk about was the placement of the grenade launcher. I did move it over to that rock, and I do like that placement, but now that kind of elevated position that's in the red spawn has nothing on it. Thinking back to it, I would probably put maybe a couple frag grenades there or some other kind of medium range weapon, just to kind of counter the fact that the blue base has that dual cave kind of setup, that 2 cave area that has the needler rifle in there, so I might just actually want to put another accurate weapon there. Other than that, that's all I have to edit on the map, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I really like this map, and I really like going back and editing it. The geometry and the kind of layout of the map, aside from the weapons, I think is really great for the original, and switching up where the weapons were kind of just perfected it. I'm not saying it's a perfect map, but in my mind, I really, really like it, and I really enjoyed working on it. If you like this video, please subscribe, like the video, maybe share it around. I know these videos are sometimes a little long, and if you actually do watch these videos when they get to the 15-16 minute length, thank you very much. You're probably a big Halo fan like I am, and I hope that you continue to watch my videos. Thank you. And if you could, follow me over on Twitter. I am the creator of Energy Sword Sunday, and I run the Twitter for that, at @theofficialESS. That's @theofficial_ESS. That's a Twitter I run for a lot of Halo content, and I've been sharing my videos on there as well. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.